Okay. At 5:30. Today's Tuesday, March the 9th, 2021, and I'm calling the Golf Course Advisory Board to order. Roll call.
Artemio Palacios.
Here.
Luis González.
Here.
Jorge Martinez.
Here.
Rudy Martinez.
Here.
Jaime Villarreal. Javier García.
Here.
Mario Liscano. Oscar
Somebody.
Villalobos.
Here.
Juan Medina.
Yeah.
Need a motion to excuse or not excuse?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion on the floor to excuse,
Yes, sir.
I second.
and a second. Motion by Member Gonzalez, second by Member Willingham. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 2, no administrative. A, approval of minutes for February the 9th, 2021. Motion?
Approve.
A motion on the floor by Member Oscarito. Oscar. Okay, second?
Second? Second that.
Okay, second by Member Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. For the record, Jaime is present. Okay, item B, consideration and action, event and revenue and expenditure report for the month of January 2021.
Good evening, gentlemen. The golf course revenue and expenditure report, January 21. Revenues at $85,219 and expenditures at $119,000 and some change. Difference, revenues less expenditures for the month, $33,791. Looking at a comparison as far as January of 21 versus January of 20, we're basically $16,000 down, and that's attributable to Winter Texans. Basically, membership revenue for the 3 months down January 15,000, and the private cart renewals they typically use down 4,000. So in a lump sum, basically everything that we that the Winter Texans are involved in is down a certain percentage, certain dollars. So, and I have hopes of recouping, knock on wood, not the majority of it, I have hopes of recouping the lost revenue that we're experiencing with a good March and a good April, considering April, we were shut down for 3 weeks in April. So knock on wood that we can have a good March and a good April to get us back close to where we need to be.
My question, Mike, do you have a gauge for here, even though it's not here? Like, how do you feel you did?
in February,
Yeah,
considerably about the same.
okay. Is that, how much did you shut down during the freeze?
Pardon me?
How many days did we shut down during the freeze?
Yeah, we were going, that is part of the,
Oh, okay.
that's gonna be part of the, status report.
I have a question, mister.
Go ahead.
Mike, have we booked, any tournaments in March?
In March? No, sir. Just the high schools.
And we don't make any money on those, do we?
High schools, we do some, now we do. I mean, now we do. They had a certain organization of high school golf coaches that are running the high school tournaments, have changed the way that they're paying golf courses, so it's, you know, it's better than what it was.
Well, okay, cool, okay.
Any other questions on finance and expenditure? Or revenues and
You need a motion to approve?
a motion?
Motion, I move.
Okay, a motion on the floor by Member Willingham to approve, send it.
Second.
Second, Oscar. Have a second. Member Oscar. Any other questions or? No questions? No discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
On the revenue.
They C, consider urgent an action evaluating on additional concrete path around driving range and the first tee.
Yes, gentlemen, in your packet, you will see an aerial shot of kind of what we would like to, we would like to look at doing. Basically kind of gives you an idea of laying out some concrete paths in between the parking lot and the driving range and around the putting green, as well as down the other side of number 1 tee. Does everybody have that picture in their packet? Okay. Main premise here, gentlemen, again, is if you go to most golf courses, there's a way to get from the driving range to the tee box, number 1 tee box, via a cart path. Not like what we currently have is where people are driving all over the grass and hopping the curb and going where, you know, just driving all over the place. There's no cart path or no mechanism for them to get to the tee box, get to the driving range tee box, to the cart path. And what that also will help is alleviate the golf carts on the tee box themselves, so on, which is a common occurrence. And aesthetically, it will look a lot better and add to the impressions as you're driving in.
Very nice.
They'll see that. Ideally, we're looking at, if you can see it, 10-foot wide cart path between the putting green and the driving range. And then once we start heading down the first tee, it narrows to 5 feet like the rest of the cart paths do, and then proceeds out to the fairway. And 2 entrances, of course, one by the tee box, and then one at the angle or the curb there, at the point in the driving range. So this is something that we have talked, the superintendent and I have talked about, so on, and it would be believe it would be a good project to incorporate again, to give the mechanism of the cart traffic getting away from being so much on the grass and also on the tee box, and giving them a place to park too, by the way. The driving range is getting a lot of use now because of COVID, prior to what it was before, and it's just something that we'd like to look at. We'd like to look at and possibly do. So, I submitted it for you to look at, see if you had any questions or see if you had any additional comments, that you'd like to make on it.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of questions and comments. First of all, how much is this gonna cost us, and has it already been approved?
It has not.
How much is it gonna cost?
That's why I'm bringing it to you, because I need to start the process to find out if we can get it in this year, or if we cannot get it in, then at least we have the number to go with for the next physical year.
Is it fair to say that you can take possibly 2 quotes, one for concrete and one for blacktop?
I would hate to do blacktop, because that's not what we have on the rest of the cart pass. The rest of the cart pass are concrete.
My other question is regarding the cart path on the east side of number 1, would that be inactive? And
No.
then
Oh, no.
would use both,
Use both, absolutely.
so people will tee off of both sides?
Yeah, well, the carts could be lined up on both sides, absolutely.
Okay, and
Because that would help take away traffic that gets bogged down because of the residential development on the right side.
right.
Yeah.
The other one has any consideration been given to having a cart path in the chipping area? Because I know there's a direct exit from number 18, but when people drive in there, would it be, I don't know, Coach, I don't know about you, but I know that when I tried using it one time, obviously there's a curve there, you can't jump it, you have to come back all the way over here, but then there's cars coming out, so we just gotta be careful with that. You got people coming off and going in. And I don't know how many people use it, the chipping area.
Well, we use the chipping area, but, I guess, I never drive over there. I've never driven on the,
No.
on the driving range either. I know other people do.
I do.
I've never done it out of courtesy, you're not supposed to drive on the driving range, and I've never done it. I always leave my cart parked in the parking lot where it's supposed to be. But I know a lot of people do because there's no,
I'm guilty, I'm
rule or
guilty,
regulation
but-
saying not to.
Yeah, there's no regulator that says.
But as
no,
far,
you can't.
yeah, but as far as the chipping area goes, on the other side,
Yeah.
by, I guess on the west
There-
side,
there's no need.
there's no need. I would say no, there's no need.
The cart path that goes to the barn.
Yeah, I think that
turn in
suffices,
there,
yeah.
You just
Beat
turn
off
in
of
there and chip.
Mike,
But my question, Rudy, I may, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go
if I
ahead.
may, why is there not, see, this is a cart path that hugs the putting green, right?
Black one, yeah,
he
the one
can't
in
see,
black.
but yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, he's got one. The path that hugs the putting green.
Okay?
Right, and then the path that comes from the range to the first tee.
Okay?
Why is there not a cart path or concrete to connect the close pathway to the first tee? Because I see what's going to happen. Guys are gonna park in the backside of the putting green. When it's their turn, they're gonna cut across and go onto the left-hand side path.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna go over the grass anyway.
Well, they're not gonna go over the grass, because it's gonna be curbed, just like the other one is. It's gonna be
Okay,
curbed,
curb.
correct.
How far is that concrete gonna go on the left side of the fairway on the number
I'd
one?
like to at least get it past the ladies' tee box.
And then just connect to the. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, exceptional, because we still, the main part is keep in mind, is that it's the presentation that we're trying to create, and
Exactly.
again, it's the it's the presentation
Aesthetics.
quality that
Aesthetics.
we're trying to create, rather than having, people park wherever they wish to park. And if you go to other golf courses and if you play and go to other golf courses, no matter if it's a public golf course to a private club, there's always cart paths,
To and from.
to and from driving range.
What resistance are you anticipating, if at all?
Pardon me?
What resistance are you anticipating, if at all?
I don't think there'd be any resistance, for this. I think it's something that, we're trying to put something back into the golf course that I think people can see right away. So I really don't think there would be. Only resistance that I could see as far as that is, if there's, because of the year we're having and the lack of winter Texan traffic, there could be a resistance because of that. But I'm looking for doing something for the year-round golfer, the public that plays out here and stuff like that, to show, hey, even though the winter Texan traffic may not be as good as what it was last year, at least we're doing this because, we appreciate the fact that you're coming out and you're patronizing Tierra del Sol. And there's a lot of them, there's a lot more people playing.
Mr. Chairman, he mentioned, or Mike, you mentioned that you're getting more traffic out of the driving range because of COVID. If I'm one of them asking you a question and they ask you, well, how much more are you making off of that? Is that something we have readily available?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're prepared for that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we make,
I can tell you that
Could
off
you
the
ask your
top of my head, for the first 6 months, the driving range has made 50% of what the total was last year. Last year's fiscal year, we made 30,000 for the entire year. This year, through 6 months, we've made over, let me back that up, 30,000, and, no, we're at 30, and we made,
you've made 100%.
yes,
You-
yes,
you've
we
made-
have. There
You
you go.
doubled what you did last year
Correct.
already in 6 months,
Correct,
which is, to me, an impact because that's your selling point, right?
yes. And that's what's being hit a lot, yes. I mean, and that's what's bringing people out. It's what also is bringing the people out.
That makes sense.
Mr. Chairman, question.
All right.
Mike, do you have an entrance on the west side? At the very top of the page?
That is I would like to say we could, but if we have a chance to, we will. That may be on somebody's easement and not the city's. That may be somebody else's property.
On the west side?
On the west side,
That'd
up
be
on the
kind of
canal
a
bank,
circle
Yeah.
thing?
Don't we have an access point there for the maintenance?
yeah, but that is
It's not
not,
county, it's not county
it's not
drainage?
county, it's not the city, it's a private owner that owns that. The gentleman that used to own the park, Paradise Resort, before he sold it, that wasn't included, so he rightfully owns that. That's why you see stakes up there, and you see stakes, and you take a look, and you see markers alongside there, so.
Palmer, right?
Yes, exactly, there you go.
It's about 20 feet from the fence,
Yeah, I think, yeah.
or maybe more, yeah.
Maybe more, yep. Yep. So I'm hesitant to put anything in there now, not knowing what his plans are, because again, that may not be our property. And if he does end up fencing it off, then that west side can change. But change to the degree of just doing a circular turnaround, not an entrance, not an entrance, exit, but do a circular turnaround so people can proceed out back towards the putting green or number one.
And that's wide enough for 2 cars to go by.
Correct, that's why it's 10 feet.
Mike, so in order for this to be complete, now you need board
I'm
board
just saying,
approval?
basically what consideration and action, if any, on the additional car path. Basically, yes, I mean, if it's basically looking for your approval to proceed as far as we can go. At least we can have it in the, minutes, and if we have, and we won't have to revisit it if the dollars do not allow us to do it this year and has to be it has to be in next fiscal year.
So let me ask you a question. If we say, which obviously we're all in favor of it, I'm sure, once we put it to a vote, and your next step would be taking it to them when?
I would have to get with the city engineers, because this part right here is just, it's me drawing it, so on. So somebody has to come in that knows, how to draw it out.
Is
And
this
I
gonna
would
be-
gather that would be another city department, I would think.
Would this be over the bidding process protocol?
It would, all,
For the 50,000?
if it's over that, yes,
So that means that you need all the specs and the engineer needs to do what he has to do.
yeah.
Which they haven't done right now.
Correct. This is very much in its infancy stage, so to speak. I haven't not brought any other city department into it, what have you. This is all basically, you're the first ones to see this. So, wanted you to give it the, either the yay or the nay, and from then we'll proceed and see, what we can do. Because there's other things involved. There may be electrical, there may be gas lines. I know that we have sprinkler heads, I know we have lines running there too, so it's more than just excavating out the cart path and everything else. We're probably gonna run into things and have to move things.
Mike. It looks good, but why can't the city go ahead and do it? We have engineers, we have.
Oh, I know, they
Personnel.
can. Like I said, gentlemen, I just wanted to bring it to you first. That's all. I wanted you to see what we planned on doing, and because you are the advisory board, I thought it would be relevant for you to have to know what's going on, to have us, and to give it its approval.
So if I understand your question, Mr. Chairman, you're saying the city has the tools to do this themselves?
In-house.
Right?
Oh,
I'm sure they can do it.
When I know they can do blacktop, I didn't know they could do concrete.
yeah.
Well, they can level it, no, but the difference here is with the asphalt, you get rain and all stuff, you're gonna be getting potholes all over. And then it starts loosening up.
Yeah.
Now, concrete stays and it's for carts to move around. So you don't wanna be
No,
a
asphalt
truck
would
out there,
not,
repatching,
No.
doing potholes.
concrete.
This is similar to Los Lagos a little bit. They have it all around the green, right? Coming off number 18 and then around on the north side, I think they have it.
Well, most of them.
Yeah. My question, Mike, if I may, Mr. Chairman, where are you gonna get the machines in? To cut the grass and do
Well, that's
whatever
where
they need to do
everybody
on the
that's what I
on the
believe
green.
the chairman was saying, so on, as far as being able to do some of this in-house.
Yeah.
and
No,
getting-
no. I'm saying like, say it's approved and we're gonna proceed with something like this.
Yeah.
As far as the greens cutters and the hole puncher, where are you gonna access to the practice putting green?
How wide is the tractor for cutting, for mowing the green?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Because
through
if you have
that,
a
everything
10-foot
else,
entrance-
10 feet is plenty.
Okay, you have a 10-foot entrance on the south side, they could access it from the south side
Correct.
entrance, the new entrance, and be able to, because there's gonna be probably a smooth transition to the green, right? It'll be below
Oh,
it,
yeah,
not above it?
oh, yeah. No, the green would be
The concrete will be below it.
below it. And I see what you're saying. Yeah, the curb itself, so on, we would have to make a section,
Yeah, that's what
for
I'm
the-
asking, 'cause
yeah,
we
we
wanna
would have to
curb
make
it,
a
not-
section,
yeah.
obviously, for the, turf equipment to get through. Driving range, not so much, because you go down,
Right.
you can go down and up and around.
Because I don't think that bigger equipment would fit through the parking lot, in between those cars, unless you're gonna eliminate a parking spot or two.
No, only reason why I got that entrance at the corner there is because that's pretty much dead space.
Be close to their driveway.
In reality, that's gonna be more of an exit, when you
Yes.
think about it.
Entrance, exit, what have you.
Which I would think it'd be an exit. And that way the carts can roll around to the putting green through the range, and then come back to the parking lot and get back in, and get in line to get to the number one tee
There you
box.
go.
Instead of
Yep.
cutting back and like, I was saying, and taking a
Yeah,
left.
And they might be even, we might make some money on the driving range because they figure, oh, I could drive over there, I'll spend $4 and hit a bucket.
Yeah,
and-
It's another sales pitch right there.
there you go. They're very true. So,
Yeah,
Because.
either or, one or the other.
No, it'll be both, like you said, pretty much. You get your
Any
So-
other question or
So do you
discussion?
need, do you need a motion to approve the, what are we calling it? The,
You're basically calling it additional
Concrete path?
concrete paths around the driving range and first tee.
you heard the man. I so, so moved.
What he said.
What he said, I so moved.
Yeah, I think it would be a great idea. I think
Yeah.
something definitely to pursue,
Okay,
in my opinion.
It'll add, it'll
Okay, we
add
have
to
a
the
motion
Yes,
on
it
the
will.
floor.
It'll add to the quality, yes, I totally agree.
We have a motion on the floor, but,
concrete.
okay,
Yes, sir.
to approve the concrete path around driving range and the first tee.
White slab project.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second.
Any dirt?
Okay, then, any other further discussion? Questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion approved.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think,
Now, item D, golf course operation status report.
Okay, let me see what I can find here. Golf course gentlemen. Discovered the irrigation lines that are running alongside, or that are running alongside the wrong side of the fence on hole number 7. The chain link fence, so on, that's there on hole number 7. Our irrigation lines are inside the subdivision. The heads, the irrigation heads, of course, are on this side of the fence, but the lines that supply the water are on the other side of the fence.
Private property.
So, yeah, and we had a break. We had a break in there, and that's how we discovered that the irrigation lines are on the wrong side of the fence. So, I just wanted you to be aware of that, in case that, for future reference, because it involves backyards of people, so on and so forth. And if people decide to add a structure in their backyard, or like this gentleman did, pounded a post into the ground and broke the irrigation line, that's what, again, it happens. I mean, so on, and so the gentleman was, nice enough to let us in and fix the course, so on and so forth. But, is it, should they be there? I mean, obviously, they are there now, but I just wanted you to be aware of it, that our irrigation lines are basically on hole number 7, are not on our property.
That's on the south side.
Yeah, it's on the south side. Mr. Chairman, if I might,
Go ahead.
as long as, they let you in, it's cheaper than, rerouting.
No doubt, no doubt.
You know?
We're talking 2-inch lines?
We're-
they're
No,
bigger
it'd
than
be, yeah, it would be. Because it's the one that's running, that's the one that's supplying the water, comes to a
From the
T,
valves.
to the valve, to the T, and then the head off the line comes out on the other side of the fence, like it's a T, so on. So the head's over here, and the line's running this way. So
Mr.
it's a
Chairman.
T section.
When we put the irrigation system back then, we did a survey,
Okay.
which meant when we surveyed it, and actually, that might have even been before that subdivision. So are you sure, when you say we found out that we're on their property, that they didn't encroach on our property?
I'm saying that according to the fence that's there, our irrigation lines are on the wrong side. So,
Well, but
But
that's because
but
of
the
a fence,
fence-
doesn't
They
necessarily
might have a
mean.
utility easement, which
okay, but
precludes
why
them from
would they,
putting it.
why during the utility easement, that's another question, you'd probably be the best one to answer that, is, can you build a fence on a utility easement?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't build a structure,
Okay,
but a fence, you have to be careful with. Either you build it off the utility easement, or when you build it, you just don't, what he did, if his platted subdivision shows our line's already there, that means there should have been a utility easement, which precludes them from being able to put the fence on that thing.
okay,
I don't know.
Yeah.
When we did that irrigation system, there was a survey done for all of it, because they needed to know exactly where to put the lines.
right. But so the fence wasn't, the fence came after the
I
fact.
don't think that subdivision was even there when we built, Coach, I don't remember.
There was only maybe one or two houses, yeah.
So that subdivision, when it was platted, whoever surveyed it should have probably come across that.
Okay.
But of course, that's in San Juan, not in Pharr, right?
Yes, because once you cross the road, you're in San Juan,
Yeah.
So, I mean,
so.
are
I
we
just
the
don't
ones-
know if this will be something that, you know, again, I just wanted you all to be aware of it. I don't know if it's going to, you know, it's been there for, obviously, it's been there for years and nobody said anything or knew about it, whatever.
Haven't had any
but-
problems, that's why.
Then there's been no problems, correct. But if we have other problems, it's just, you know, we're gonna have to ask permission to get in there and obviously get it, fix it.
As long as you get permission and you don't have to fight it in court, you know, let it be. You're not gonna ask them to move their fence and then get into some litigation. It's just,
True. So that's kind of an FYI, gentlemen, on that.
It's gonna happen eventually.
eventually it will. but,
And is there a plan to say, be proactive and not allow it to happen again, to move everything? Or we're just gonna hope that they don't,
What if it's in the easement?
that
Yeah.
They have to.
they don't
let
break
you
a line
go.
again?
Yeah, they don't basically break a line.
My
but-
recommendation is consult the engineer and pull those survey that we did,
Yeah.
because that would be kind of like, what did we do? Did we do it right? And then he can pull the plat for the subdivision in San Juan.
Yeah.
And that plat will have where the easements are, whether it's a utility line, a gas line, and or whatever, we were already there. Cause all of that I'm sure was recorded at the courthouse.
Yeah. George, what year was that? How long ago?
Man, it
was
might
that?
have been
About 10,
15
12,
might have
15
been
years ago,
15
20?
years ago, at
Maybe
least.
more.
Yeah,
Well,
because I don't think that
supplementation.
side developed until maybe
It wasn't until
eight,
afterwards.
9 years ago, maybe that it
In
started.
fact, one of the reasons why we couldn't sell alcohol over there, correct me if I'm wrong, was because that was in San Juan and we're from Pharr. So back then they told us the
Yeah.
beverage
cart,
cart cannot cross the tunnel.
Right.
Did you know that?
No,
I remember something, hearing about that, yeah.
that's a new one on me. No.
Because you're crossing a city,
Cross the
from one
city.
city.
The,
Okay,
so moving on to the,
That's crazy.
other items is this week, we're going to start with the pre-emergent fertilizer, and that'll go down, that'll be applied to everything except the greens. We continue our bi-weekly and our monthly greens fertilization program. T-box verticutting will happen the last week of March. We do have our mobile reel grinder company coming in to sharpen the blades on 2 greens mowers and a fairway mower. This was, we started this last year with this company to come in and perform the service after it was noted of our poor cutting quality that Foresight had mentioned in their analysis. The purchase order been received, and the new Sand Pro, the bunker rake, has been ordered, and we are working on some storage bins, concrete block storage bins for the proper storage of top dressing and fill dirt, top dressing, sand, and fill dirt.
That was on the green.
We do have upcoming tournaments that one just happened this Friday and Saturday. The RGV GCA High School Tournament, just had Friday, Saturday. We have high school pre-district on Friday the 26th. And then we have a high school district tournament themselves on Monday and Tuesday, the 29th and 30th.
this is no cost, right?
No, this pays.
Well, they're gonna pay for this
Pays
tournament?
high schools, yes. It's a high school district tournament that's put on by UIL. Valley View is the host of it this year, so on, so, yes, this one is,
Normal rates or discounted rates?
pardon me?
They get
They
Exaggerated rates.
They are paying They are paying the new rate, that was discussed, that they're paying all golf courses, through this association.
Okay.
Well, to answer your question before, golf course, we experienced 6 days of below freezing temperatures that resulted in the course being closed. And then February, just a heads up on February, when we get to discussing that next month, and you mentioned how February was, George, you mentioned how February was prior to January. Rounds were down 35% from prior February. Biggest contributor to that was Winter Texans. Rounds, that was down 60. Membership dollars, the renewals and everything else, down 62%. And because of the lack of participation in the Winter Texan leagues and so on, that's resulted in food and beverage showing a 50% decrease. But again, we did experience a 5% increase in combined daily green fee and cart fee revenue. That's the daily fee players and everything else, the locals, so on, that are coming in playing.
I had an idea, when he put that cart path there, we can put a little beverage cart right there next to, in between the tee box and the starting.
It's a little food stand.
Big time idea.
Sell hot dogs
I
or
like
sell.
that idea.
Yeah, hot dogs, cold sandwiches.
Have the bev cart sitting out
There
there.
you
I
go.
like that idea.
You want a food truck.
So that concludes the golf course status report for this month, gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I have a question for Mike. Well, Rudy has a question for Mike about,
Who has a
No,
question?
I was curious.
because I forgot mine, that's why
Golf
I'm having.
came in, did an
Hey, man,
analysis and all that.
Okay.
They really never stopped putting on tournaments, because I would get all kinds of emails from their golf courses saying, hey, come join us for this tournament, there.
Let's see.
What about us, Mike? Can we, or do we need to put at least one tournament that TDS hosts? Like, a turkey shootout on Thanksgiving, or different things like that?
A different
Do we
theme.
need
A
to,
different-
or would that be a good idea? Bring in some more, revenue?
Oh, anything that brings in more revenue that is a good thing. So, answer your question, that is something that we can look at. Again, Foresight and what they do is based up in the San Antonio, Bernie area, what have you, and with their golf courses. Their regulations and how they abide by it, so on, or what they need to do to, through COVID, are different than what Hidalgo County does, so on. So they're in a different boat.
Are they more
If they're
lenient, or
doing their
what?
golf course, they own a golf course in Comfort, Texas, as a matter of fact. And that's one of the places that I do believe that's where one of their tournaments are. That you're talking about. Comfort, Texas is in a different county than what San Antonio sits in also, so on.
Be the
So
Bandit, or?
that would be, the Bandit is out of New Braunfels. They have a golf course in Comfort, just off of 10. Can't remember the name, but the Bandit is up around New Braunfels on the other side.
Buckhorn, maybe?
Buckhorn,
This is-
there you go.
What?
Uh-huh.
So on. So, anyways, all depending on the county, that's why they were able to do it. And again, if you did a progressive start, again, I can't remember if you did a progressive start or not a shotgun, but a progressive, and lined them out like what happened this past weekend in the local tournament, then you can hold a turkey shootout, what have you. But to answer your question, yes, if we can look at doing something further down, like on a Sunday afternoon, so on, to bring in some extra revenue, yes.
Yeah, like maybe you have a tournament and then watch the game for the Cowboys fans or whoever,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Play in the morning and then have some kind of special at the clubhouse where they can stick around and watch the game, and, where we can bring in some more tournaments that not the schools run, but TDS.
Correct. Yes. A total possibility, yes.
And another thing, are we bringing back sundowners now that, Texas supposedly is gonna open up?
We are bringing it back in. I have not figured out a date yet.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
The hours
Until-
changed this weekend, right?
The hours
Yeah.
change, the hours
Already.
change, this weekend, that is correct.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Mike. The mask mandate, I hope we're gonna still keep it implemented for the clubhouse.
That question is, as of right now, that question is beyond the scope of my knowledge of what we're gonna be doing come tomorrow. My
Would that be a city-
understanding is that you do not have to wear it coming in. Okay, you don't have to wear it, so on. But it's gonna be highly suggested that you do.
Actually, that's my whole point,
Yeah.
that we should leave the signs up that says.
Oh, they are. I'm not taking those. If that's your question, yes, the signs are staying
yes.
up.
No, that is exactly
Yeah,
my question.
Yeah,
His orders have two stipulations. If you're a business or an establishment, you can set your own guidelines. It's in one of the paragraphs.
right.
And so each establishment, which I'm assuming would be a government entity, can make their own guidelines if they so choose to do it, and make it mandatory if they so choose to do it. If not, it would be a request. So most of these government entities are going through their legal counsel and determining, what are we gonna do?
Right.
We want the safety of our employees, but of course, this is an outdoor venture, which is supposed to be the safest thing. It's the only thing that didn't shut down, or that opened up quickly, I think, in the summer, right?
Right.
So, I mean, should be the
Yeah.
safest thing to do.
But
Well,
again,
there
I
are
don't
still
know.
a lot of people in the clubhouse, for example, on Wednesday mornings, during men's league and when the women play. I mean, there's tons of people in that clubhouse.
And they should be wearing masks.
They could wear their mask.
They
Simple.
should be wearing masks, so on. But my only question is, again, it hasn't been really talked about, or if it hasn't, is the fact that because it's a city building, so on, it would have to be, I would think it'd have to be a blanket request or
Mandate
blanket
from the city.
mandate for all city buildings. We can't go out on the limb and say, we're gonna do this.
No, you're right.
And then let somebody else, and then turn around and, the rest of the city buildings are following a different path type of thing, so.
You hear from the powers that be, you have to follow whatever they tell you to
Correct,
do.
correct.
Well, they still have to follow CDC, guidelines,
So they've relaxed their
Here we go.
guidelines already, but for those that have the vaccine,
Yeah.
Correct.
Both.
right, both vaccines. I have a question on tournaments, sir.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of political things going on right now. We haven't gotten anybody approach us about political tournaments, and if so, how do they work? When it's like a fundraiser for them, do they,
Oh, they pay.
how do
To
they?
answer your question, there was one of them, there was one that was held 2 weeks ago at Los Lagos. They asked us for a bid and we bid on it, and we didn't get it. And keep in mind that all tournaments as of right now are still, and the activities are outside. There's nothing inside, so on, at presently at Tierra del Sol. Other golf courses that have a pavilion attached to it or a patio, perfect
You're
place,
making- you're
place,
making a
place
point.
to do it. Perfect place to do it.
You're making a point that we need to expand on, and that's having a pavilion. And that's been, something
Open
that
air
was brought up
pavilion?
many years ago. We already have the parking garage, the parking area on the east side. Back then, we talked about putting, I don't know if you guys remember, about putting a cover.
Yeah,
That's gonna attract
that would
outdoor
be
venues.
awesome.
Like Los Lagos has that outdoor venue, you can
Right.
have something outside. That's something that, it's gonna help you bring in more business, cause we don't wanna have people, inside the building as much. We wanna have them outside,
Right.
even going forward.
Right.
So that's the new norm.
Agreed,
So-
agreed. Something that we can look at, and plus two, and this is by all means not a dig on tournaments, gentlemen, but Saturday mornings, Sundays have been very popular.
Yeah.
If you compare Saturday mornings now to what it was prior, we're reaching more people. We're putting in 175, 180 people a day. On Saturday mornings, we're making substantially more money than what we did back prior to COVID, even with a golf tournament, we're able to reach and have an effect on more people than a golf tournament tying up the golf course for 6 hours a day and reaching 90 or 100. We're reaching more people.
Thinking
Mis-
people are thirsty right now,
Yeah,
and,
mis-
and you're gonna satisfy what their
Yeah.
thirst. more
Mr.
than-
Chairman, I was playing in San Antonio this weekend, and the guy says, we're booked, we're completely booked every day.
Yeah.
And I said, shit, there's not that many, golfers. He says, COVID has made a lot of golfers.
And he's right, absolutely. And
COVID has
nationwide.
made a lot of golfers.
Nationwide. So what I'm looking at is tournaments do have to pay. I mean, will have to pay, so on, but it's not going to be the price as what it was pre-COVID. I mean, because we are putting through a lot more rounds now, and we're making more money. So,
They're lined up on Saturdays and Sundays.
mhm.
Not enough carts.
And that concludes my report, gentlemen.
Questions, discussion? Anything else, Mike?
No, sir.
That's it? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Gonzalez,
Second.
second by Willingham?
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you guys, gentlemen.
No, what are you doing?
Appreciate you being here.
With the kids and then. There you go, perfect.
And jelly sandwich.
Coach, anybody?